Yuan Gap, Bal Boga, Bakit Berit, Polarang Bal, Wardak Katak, Yay Bal, Dorak Board, Boga Beria.
Cover Mendich Bal Waramang,
War Bria Moki. But I doubt what in Anna.
Nan Kanan Barang Chino.
Fist of Fury Noongar Da is the first feature film anywhere in the world to be dubbed into one of the languages originally from this place, now called Australia.
Nuna Wamwa.
Kanan. Ngan Yuat Wan Bal Ma Karang.
Kaya nganang kwel Kylie Bracknell, Kylie Gilbert Carden, ngan artistic associate Alicia Kwop, Corinth Perth Festival. I think every blackfellow around the country loves Bruce Lee and is drawn to martial arts. As one of my favourite uncles in Barry Maguire says, he looked to Bruce Lee like he was a real everyday superhero today. He didn't need the green screens, he didn't need any special effects because he did everything. He was the superhero. And I guess in a time where Aboriginal people in their own country weren't even considered citizens in the 60s, and then to have Fist of Fury be released in 72, it's the first non-Anglo lead action hero, superstar actor that they're seeing on screen. The physicality I've always felt is akin to the physicality of our athletes in a traditional setting, our hunter-gatherers who are ripped and completely fit and knew the terrain that they were working with, were agile, smart, intelligent on the ground. I would say that Noongar language has survived through the incredible adversity of amazing leaders in our community, most of which are deceased now. There are so many Noongar families that have somehow, miraculously, I think, managed to keep our language strong enough to maintain its hum.
Fok Yuan Gap, Bal Boga, Bakit Beria, Bolarang Bal, Wardak Katak. Neja, Karet Nyongara. Koramej Kobej, Bal. Neja Karet Ma Anna, Jing Mo, Yerakenya Bamang.
I'm grateful for the supportive team that have been a part of this project to help maintain the wonderful integrity around this being an incredible ambassador for keeping languages safe and current and present and appreciated and embraced and respected and accessible for our next generation to access and be proud of. It is a language that keeps our vibration strong through songs, through ceremony, through relationships of us and nature, and honouring, and that may sound very cliche, but it is about honouring life in a way that we look to be preventative with things rather than cure things later. So the process of translating Fist of Fury from Cantonese to Noongar, it was a little intense, and because it was new ground and it hadn't happened before, it probably exceeded the hours that we originally predicted it would take to cross-check the English version and to, I guess, revert a lot of that text back to the original Cantonese meanings to ensure that we're not taking any liberties from a creative standpoint. And sometimes in the intense recording sessions, I would have to make calls to Roma Yibyang Winmar, who was our editor for the Noongar translations or interpretive translations.
Near Nuna.
Ngan Jen Jen.
Once we got into the studio to record with the voice cast, we would look at the footage and to honour the on-screen performers, we would try to match their mouth movements as seamlessly as possible because we did not want this to be comedic in any way, shape or form. We wanted to honour the original story.
Bad with Darapinwa? Nyarda, Bujarak Nyon.
However you need to get the quickness of the line or the consonants. We had a screening in Margaret River for NAIDOC Week, and there was a non-Noongar man who came up to me after the screening and said, "Hey Kylie, I've got to tell you, I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. I've seen Fist of Fury probably about 4 times now. I've got to say, it's not until now that I understand what the story is about." And that's wonderful feedback to hear from a die-hard Bruce Lee fan. And I think it has a lot to do with our subtitles and the way that we have honoured both the Noongar but kept the actual original plot line of the story. Because you see, the English version of the film takes liberties, and it kind of makes Bruce Lee's character in Chen Jian look like he's just vindictive or there's vengeance to be had. They completely miss the grieving. They miss the drive for justice. They miss all of that point in the English recording or dub of it, but also the subtitling. Some of the unique challenges were, for example, in Cantonese, they would say like your 5th eldest brother.
Karangba.
They would list them in rankings, and that is specifically, I guess, for the Kung Fu hierarchy. We needed to find a way to honour that in Noongar because we don't have that term.
Ngor bria moking. But that worry nana.
Ngan kanan barang jinong.
Made some really joyful discoveries, I suppose, in the Noongar vocab documents that we have, and also discussing it with Annie Roma. We found words that we didn't know for younger brother, for example. We could say one word and it can mean quite a lot. I think that's because we need the body language to accompany that, and also the emotion, the energy. One of the voice casts after the Perth world premiere called me over. And he just looked at me and his face changed like this. Tears rolled down his eyes and just hugged me, pulled me in and gave me a big hug and just said, "You did that. You got me to talk my language." I can't believe it. Hearing myself talk my language. So our language celebrates life. Not just life, but how we are connected to that. Everything's intertwined. Gosh, I love our language so much. What's not to celebrate in that? You tell me.